Hi, I'm Jordan. Welcome to my art studio. So today I'm working on something pretty fun. I am making some Christmas gifts for my friends and family, and I thought I would film the process in case you wanted to try making some of these yourself as gifts. So let me show you what I'm working on. I've already made this prototype. It's a keychain or a bag charm. You can kind of use it for whatever purpose you want, but it's just this really pretty little beaded charm, and I have been wanting to make one of these for myself for the longest time, and I figured a lot of my friends and family would enjoy having one of these as well, and it's close to the holidays, so I'm just going to make a bunch and give them out as gifts. These are so simple to make, especially if you already have jewelry supplies on hand, or you can go pick up some basic supplies at the craft store. But let's go ahead and get started. So for supplies, you'll need some sort of keychain or large clasp. I picked up these brass keychains at my local jewelry supply shop. They are super simple, but they're perfect for this. You'll need some jump rings. I have this set of a bunch of different sizes of brass jump rings. You'll need some eye pins. Once again, these are brass to match the keychain. But you can also get these in silver or any other kind of metal, depending on what you're using. You might need some head pins. You'll need some basic jewelry tools. So I have some wire cutters here, a pair of needle nose pliers, and then most importantly, you'll need some round nose pliers. These are super helpful. And then besides those basic supplies, you'll just need some beads or charms. So like I said, I went to my local jewelry supply store where I got these keychains, and I also picked out a few beads, which I just have to show you because they're so pretty. This is the little selection of beads that I picked out, and I just love all of these so much. They're mostly glass beads, but there's also a few charms in here, and I just thought these would be perfect for the keychains. If you're curious, I went to Bead World here in Seattle, and they have such a great selection. So if you're in the area, I definitely recommend checking them out. But I also have some other beads on hand. If you remember earlier this year, I did a jewelry video back in the summer, and I had ordered a bunch of like vintage beads on eBay and Etsy, and I still have a lot of those left from that video. So I also have these here to use, as well as just some beads that I already had in my collection. So I'm going to be using all these supplies to make these keychains. And then I will also show you how I did this packaging. This was super simple as well, but I love how it turned out. So let's get started. So basically what I'm doing for these keychains is just making these 2 strands of beads for each one. So I'm going to start by picking out a few beads for this next one. I have a list of people that I'm making these for, so I'm kind of picking out specific beads and colors for each individual keychain that I think that person will enjoy having. Okay, I've picked out some beads and I've kind of arranged them how I think I want them to go. So now it's time to put them all together. I'm going to start with grabbing one of these eye pins. An eye pin looks like this, if you're wondering. It just has this loop at one end. And I think I'm going to start over here with this strand. So I'm just going to start putting these beads directly on the eye pin. So this last one isn't going to fit on here, but that's okay. We'll add that next. So from here, you're going to need your round nose pliers. And the end of the eye pin that does not have a loop, we're going to use these pliers basically just to make a loop that looks just like this one. So to do this, I'm going to make sure all the beads are snug together, and I'm going to grab the wire right here by the top and bend it over. And then I'm going to grab the end of the wire, and depending on where you grab with these pliers, it will determine how big the loop is. Like down here would make a small loop. If you did it up here, it would make a really large one. So do it wherever you think, but grabbing the end, I'm just going to twist it and then grab it again to keep twisting, basically until it makes this little loop. And I'm going to make sure that end is tucked in. So there we have a little loop that matches the one on the other end. So with this, you can use jump rings to attach it to more beads. So let's work on the next few. I'm going to grab another eye pin. Okay, I like how that looks. So now I'm going to do the same thing and make another loop with the end of this. You want about 1/4 inch of wire left at the end to make the loop. I think I have a little bit too much, so I'm just going to trim just a little bit of this off. And then I'm going to follow the same process to make a loop. So make sure my beads are pulled all the way down and start at the base and fold that wire over, just like that. And then grab it at the top of the wire and turn that towards me. And keep turning until I've made this loop. And then just make sure the end is tucked all the way in. So it's not perfect, but it'll do. So there's our little loop. And now this can be connected on both ends. And this last little piece is just a charm. It's not actually a bead. So this will just be attached with a jump ring. And I'm going to use jump rings to actually attach all of this together to make this strand. So I was going to use these brass jump rings, but I have these on hand as well. I think I'm going to use these instead just because I like this color a little bit better with these beads. So I'm going to use my needle nose pliers and open up one of these jump rings. And then I'm going to take these pieces and just join them together. Close the jump ring, and that's how you attach these two pieces. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this little charm. And here we have a finished strand of beads. Now I'm going to work on putting these ones together. So I'm going to grab an eye pin and then just start stringing these beads on. So I'm going to start with just these ones, and I'm going to trim this wire a little bit. So I have about 1/4 inch to work with. Grabbing my round nose pliers, I'm going to do the same thing once again to make a loop. And there we go. Take another eye pin and do these last few beads. I think I might actually add one more to this strand. Maybe one of these rectangle beads. Yeah, I think I like that. I'm going to close this end to make a loop. This one is a little bit wonky, but it works. And then I just need to attach all these pieces together. So grab a jump ring, open that up, and then join together the charms. Just like that. And here is the finished strand. So now I just need to attach these pieces to my keychain. Once again, I'm just using jump rings, super easy. However, I am going to be grabbing a bigger jump ring than these little guys that I have here. So I'm going to grab one of these big ones. I went ahead and opened that, and then I'm just going to attach it to the end of my keychain. Just like that, and then these strands will attach to that bigger jump ring. So I'll grab one of these small ones, take one of these strands, and then attach that to this ring. Just like that. And then I might do 2 jump rings on this just to make it a little bit longer. I kind of like one strand to be a little bit longer than the other. That's what I did here with this one, and I think it looks nice. So I've made this mini chain that I'm going to use to attach this strand. And there we go. Now that I have this keychain finished, let me show you how I do the packaging for these. So it's super simple. I really wanted to keep the handmade look of this gift. So what I did was take scrap pieces of cardboard, and I just cut them up into these rectangles, and then I went ahead and painted them just using basic acrylic paint in these different colors. and then I will use this as the packaging. So I'm just going to take a hole punch and punch a hole in the top, just like that. And then I have this really pretty ribbon, and I am just going to use this to attach the keychain to the cardboard. Cut off a piece. So I realized this keychain was a little bit longer than the first one I did, so the cardboard is a little bit too short to have the entire keychain laying on it. So I'm just going to keep that key ring hanging off the top. That way the beads all lay on the cardboard. And then I'm just going to trim the extra pieces of ribbon from the bow. So now to secure the keychain to the cardboard so it doesn't like roll around like this, I'm going to take some stretchy clear cord, and I'm just going to tie this around the bottom so that it will keep this keychain nice and snug against the cardboard. And then a trick to make sure your clear elastic cord stays knotted, because it has a tendency to come apart on its own. I'm going to use some clear nail polish and just put a tiny bit of this on that knot. So just a tiny dab of this nail polish and that knot will stay together. While that dries, the last thing that I'm going to do is make this label for the packaging. So you could write on the cardboard directly by hand, but I have this little embossing label maker, so I'm just going to use this to make the label. And here is my label. This label maker is really cool. I love the labels it makes, and this is sticky on one side if I take off the backing, so I can just stick this right on the cardboard. So we have the keychain here, and I can tuck this behind that elastic cord, and then I'm going to put the label here on the side. I'm going to trim the edges just a little bit. So here's the finished keychain. I just love how this turned out. I think it's so pretty, and I can't wait to give this as a gift. So one more thing that I'm thinking about doing for the packaging, I bought these clear bags, and I was hoping this would be a good size to fit this inside. And then take off this piece, and then fold it over to secure. And then I have this nice little package. And then from here, I might wrap this in some tissue paper or wrapping paper or something, just so it's ready to give as a gift. But overall, I think it looks great as is, and this turned out so cute. I cannot wait to give these as gifts to my friends and family. So I have quite a few more of these to make. I am going to keep working on these, but hopefully this video gave you the basic process to make these yourself if you want to try it out, whether you want to make one for yourself or make them as gifts this year. I am also going to make just a few extras of these to list online in my shop. So if you want one of these keychain bag charms made by me, I will have my website linked down below in the description, so you can go check it out and see the ones that I've made. There's just going to be a few of them, and they're each one of a kind. So grab one while you can if you do want one, because once they're gone, they're gone. But regardless, I hope that you love these, whether you make one for yourself or grab one of the ones that I've made. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.